This is a very unusual video. Usually मैं बस बताता हूँ कि problems क्या हैं and उनको हम कैसे solve कर सकते हैं. But in this video, this is the first time we're going to take the leap. We're going to actually talk about an actual problem that schools create and try to solve it for you. So schools don't talk about money at all.
It is not normal. There is no personal finance course in India. US or other markets have a personal finance course which they have to go through.
I think this is a problem that spans the last several generations.
It's not unique to us. Every generation has gone through this challenge. पैसे के बारे में बात करना चालू किया था, but अब कोई बात करता है इंश्योरेंस के बारे में?
Somehow talking about money is a little dirty.
Gossip करने के सबके टाइम है कि उसकी चाचा जी या what's happening.
What is happening in the neighbor's house? Yeah.
But never talking about what is really that matters and makes this family run.
There's a culture of fear around talking about money.
In the child also, you're trying to build a sense of trust, right? Talking about finances in the house is a must as much as talking about कि घर की values क्या हैं.
And it creates a lot of problems both for parents as well as their kids.
The child comes saying ये मेरा घर है, वो आपका घर है, वो उसका है, तो ये सब भी होता है. बच्चे ऐसे ही बात करते हैं जैसे आप उनसे बात करते हैं.
The family dynamic around money is always a little polluted, always a little confused.
You know, all these children have this thing that what if I had a better home, a bigger home? Because they went and saw their friend's bigger house and it's normal, yeah. Kids will behave like this.
So we thought, let's talk about finance, let's talk about money, let's give you the tools you need to be able to talk to your kids about money better. Balance between talking about money and not talking about money. But isn't there a question then, like if I have term insurance and I have to tell my child about it, then I have to talk about my death. So on of money, when do I take my child to the bank? What is stopping the education system from making this part and parcel of the curriculum? So initially I wrote the script. I said I'll talk about this on camera, but then I realized I don't know enough about this topic. We must get an expert. So here is Gaurang Sanghvi. So please say hello to him. You might have seen on Tanmay Bhatt's podcast as Ask That Finance Guy. He's spent 10 years in finance himself, from DSP Mutual Fund to RBL Bank. He's taught over 3,000 kids finance during COVID himself. And I think he was telling me, which I'll let him tell us a little bit more about, for 50 students who lost the primary breadwinner, lost a parent in their house, he taught them how to deal with the family finances. Is that right?
Yeah. So it was actually far much more learning for me as much as for them. But just out of talking to some of these kids, they reached out saying something like they've lost a father. In most cases, it was a father or a very close uncle who was an important part of their family. And then they're just clueless, right? These are 18 to 25-year-old kids who have a home loan or don't know where the insurance papers are or what to do with the insurance papers around the same.
I think COVID was that time for all of us. We had a very somber conversation with my dad also. One fine day, he just woke up, he's called my sister and me to the table. And he's like, listen guys, this is serious times. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. These are the assets we have. These are the liabilities we have. And the first time we're hearing about this at the age of 30 and 26 for her.
But at least you're glad it started, no?
Finally it happened, yeah.
Because COVID is the only time very, very few families still spoke about it. Most families still don't talk about it.
Still didn't, yeah.
But at least for the ones that did,
yeah,
you started having to know the journey that your parents have gone through.
Sure, yeah.
And that I think is missing in most of our lives. We don't remember what our parents went through. And especially when we become older and we become the sandwich generation, which is having children and having adults to take care. Yeah. And we think it's unique to us. It's not unique to us. Every generation has gone through this challenge.
Yeah.
But conversations do COVID started, but honestly it died also after COVID.
It died.
These topics come up and go. पैसे के बारे में बात करना चालू किया था, बट अब कोई बात करता है इंश्योरेंस के बारे में? सब भूल रहे हैं, धीरे धीरे सब भूल रहे हैं. I think one learning that we should all have is that talking about finances in the house is a must as much as talking about कि घर की values क्या हैं, हमारे मतलब gossip करने के सबके टाइम है कि उसकी चाचा जी या what's happening.
What is happening in the neighbor's house? Yeah.
But never talking about what is really that matters and makes this family run beyond the family setups.
Yeah. No, it's so important because see, the thing is, we think talking about money is about talking about expenditure and not talking about expenditure. No, it's about how am I planning for my future? What are the goals that I'm going to set for myself? How do I enable myself to do all that? All this conversation, these things didn't come up only in the family.
But think about it. Money is just not about expenses of this thing. Money is about like life.
Yeah.
There is a reason why Banya families, kids are oriented from day one on a dining table. Are conversations about how other people make money. Now, I'm not suggesting every household needs to have that because that's really boring. Because in my house, we only discuss these things till today. But the point is not that conversations about money are beyond just your own finances. Yeah. It's how the world operates.
It's how the world operates. Let's start at the beginning. Give me a sense of the scope of the problem.
We are sitting on the largest debt problem.
Debt problem?
Yes. So India has the largest in the middle, what we assume is middle. Anybody earning between 40,000 rupees to 2.5 lakh rupees as a family. That's the true middle.
Right.
Not anything above 2 lakhs is already at a premium context as a family income.
Sure.
They are sitting on as a percentage of debt as one of the largest in the world. Because देखो aspirations तो बढ़ गई हैं हमारी और खर्चे भी बढ़ गए हैं. But our income hasn't taken that same pace. Also, a lot of families have gone from double income to a single income in some cases.
Sure.
Or whatever the other challenges are.
Yeah.
And everything is expensive today.
Right.
We like it or not, the current rate of inflation has never been seen in a continuous fashion. Perhaps in the last 30, 40 years.
I was reading somewhere that, buying an iPhone is so aspirational, but most people buy iPhones on debt, on credit, or on EMI. So they're just building up these expenses in the future, which they don't have visibility on earnings right now.
80% of phones are bought on an EMI. And that is scary because you're buying things that it's not about what you can afford.
Yeah.
It is a social signal. And the classic way to check it is weddings.
Right.
People are borrowing money for celebrations, which was never our norm. Yes, people used to spend a lot more on weddings.
But it was what they had, not what they borrowed.
Or around that they could manage.
Yeah.
Today, celebrations have gone. Look at what a child's first birthday looks like. It looks like the whole village has come together. Not a village, but literally these parties are not small.
Yeah.
And also, yes, social norms has made us spend more. But at some point, we have to understand this and have these conversations with children.
Yeah.
Because children sees that fancy Nike shoe. I don't understand how these kids afford some of these Nike shoes and beyond when they're 10 and 14.
Sneakerheads, absolutely. It's strange, right? It's the kind of luxury expense that when we were growing up was unheard of. I remember having a very long conversation about why we lost that Costco ki cricket ball today. Again. Like, agar nali mein giri hai, to nikal lo na. Like, literally, that 20 rupee Costco ball was a massive expense for us. But the point is that the kids are watching these signals, right? The parents are signaling that, kharcha to hum kar hi sakte hain and we can buy it on credit and we'll manage and all that. And the kids are, I guess, imbibing these values, right? Where does that leave us? Because the parents are, I suppose, also victims of the same gap in the education system. They never really thought about, like me, for example, savings, investing, financial goals, personal finance, never came up in their minds. And now I guess we're passing that on to our kids in a very strange generational handoff.
But you think as parents also not to be blamed because we can only talk of what we have spoken to. Let's be fair on that part. Yes, things have changed, information is available with this thing, but one core tenet of finance is the information misgap. Most people don't want you to know enough. The reason you go buy a expensive loan or buy an insurance that you don't know, because there's a knowledge arbitrage between me and the bank guy who's selling me things.
There's a knowledge arbitrage, absolutely right.
Yeah. So this knowledge arbitrage, and it's very hard to complex because the system is organized for knowledge arbitrage. वो terms and conditions का भी देख लो आप खुद the best of finance people are the worst personal finance people for themselves. Okay. So ask a banker how they do their finance. They will trust me. They don't trust another banker. So there's a reason for it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But there is a way to change this.
Yeah.
One way to change is that it cannot be a taboo subject. Like many other things are not a taboo. Right? When these kids turn 18, gender is not a taboo subject in most households today. There's a conversation whether you like it or not. Okay. Why shouldn't money be the reverse for the parents?
Yeah. So I guess we know why we need to talk about it for sure. Let's talk about what kids should know about money. Is there a checklist that parents should go in with?
Step one is to say that money is not available on tap. That's a middle class problem that has happened today. Most kids think money comes from a wallet or from a phone today.
Yeah.
That has to change. First, they have to understand that what does both the parents end up doing to collect the money. See, how do we as a family get our money?
Where do we earn from? Yeah.
And see, parents are very proud to saying my father or your mother does this work. Take them to your workplace. Right? It's so important. I know it might not be normal for some homes, but I'm not suggesting for an hour.
Yeah.
But it's so important to take them through what you do. So let's say, in your life, if you're shooting one day, bring your kid to the shooting. Yes, I know they might make noise or might not be comfortable for you.
No, yeah. Actually, the other way around is the problem. You're saying that the kids might make noise and all that, but actually kids really imbibe the place very fast. If you take a child and you trust them with your workplace, they pick it up like that. It's you have the hang up. You think there'll be some problem, but actually kids love the fact that you're including them in your life. You're taking them along, you're sharing what you do the whole day.
And see, younger children keep on asking, why are you not with me? But if you take them, the child will understand.
Okay, what this separation
Means. Then take them and make them part of your house expenses. Most couples don't sit and have this conversation, unfortunately. कि खर्चे कहाँ होते हैं और झगड़े ना, मतलब I've now realized that most expenses or most fights indirectly have money relation to it.
Of course.
Especially in a family, but in a couple situation as well.
Yeah.
And then that happens कि बच्चे को तुमने इतना खर्चा कर दिया. So money plays a very, very big part of your conflict or of a happy home.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely right.
at least sit and think mota. Kids should know if the house is rented, what is the cost of rent, or what are the main expenses. And the good part is, if they understand that one, how much my parents work hard to collect the money that they want, and then what items cost, the main things at least.
Yeah, पनीर तो अब छोटी-छोटी पोतलियों में सोने की तरह बिकेगा.
मतलब आजकल तो हर चीज भी, मतलब the day I realized hing is so expensive. Children should know how much a party cost. Today, most kids don't understand. They want to call 100 friends. Everybody has to get 16 types of return gift back.
मेरे पूरे बैच को बुला लो, सबको बुला लो.
हाँ. So I think that has to be a conversation. The lot of things that charity starts at home, right? You have to get kids, especially a very simple thing, on their birthday, while they can have a great party and you can enjoy, make them do one small donation or take their old clothes.
Yeah.
See, birthdays become a very important factor to the kids and the parents.
Yeah.
Use that birthday week or birthday month to do something different.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to saying that this is a repeatable year. Every year, extra clothes will be given away. As simple as that. It doesn't need to be more complicated.
One of my closest friends does this. Like on his birthday, he and his wife go and donate a bunch of stationery, books to a non-profit school as well. It's ritualizing another way of using money, and making sure that the birthday becomes meaningful in a larger context.
And they have to understand that the money gets collected, even if it's a bank. Take them to the bank.
Let's do this thoda.
हाँ.
So you're saying first and foremost,
पैसा आता कहाँ से?
okay, I'm gonna write it down. Where rupees come from, then where it's spent,
Where it's earned as well.
then
Where does money get stored? I think the next is bank.
storing and let's say operating money. Withdrawal, transaction,
Any
deposit.
form of exchange of...
Exchanging money. So if you're going to tell them where it's spent, does that also mean I have to tell my kids how much I earn?
No, you don't need to. I don't think you need to. You need to tell them where money comes from. See, most families do not want to talk about how much they make. Or most Indians, we don't like to tell our left hand from our right hand how much. That's the old theory as well.
Yeah.
You should know that beyond this spend is not okay for the family. So for example, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल का 5,000 रुपए से ऊपर आता है, वो अपना मैक्स है.
Sure.
अगर 6,000 आ गया तो अगले महीने एज अ फैमिली वी हैव टू फिगर आउट हाउ टू मेक इट 5,000. So it should not be, because not everybody.
So you don't need to communicate exactly what you're earning,
Not
even
at all.
if you don't want to, but it's important that the children know what the budget is.
And it's a good thing if your child doesn't know how much you earn.
Yeah, why?
Because that also creates an ego. Children are very innocent. So I know how much my father earns, and the kid will ask somebody else how much their father earns, and that becomes a comparison point. Right? Mera pencil box, aapka pencil box. Standard context, right?
So save them from that. There's
Save
no
them.
need.
There's no need for this thing. But you should know, the child should know where the top 5-6 places where expenses are.
And the budgets we have for those things.
Give them a check, not the cash. Let them take a check and let them withdraw the money. I remember I learnt about banking because we were supposed to write. The minute we started learning this thing, हमको पूरा वो लिखाया जाता था कि 5,350 रुपए लेजर लिखना पड़ता था. बेरर को क्लैश कैंसिल करना पड़ता था. ऑफिस के बाहर खड़ा रहना पड़ता था ताकि सिग्नेचर ले सके अपने फादर का, और फिर जाके जमा करने में या लेके आने में जो भी.
No, I also like the idea that if you're going to take the child out, you're going to show them the establishment of money. I think plugs them into what the flow of money looks like.
Absolutely. If you're in any of the big cities, go to there's a Reserve Bank in every city.
Yeah.
At least the top 5-6 cities.
Right.
Take them to it. The Mumbai one has a mint museum. The Bangalore also has a mint museum by one of the developers, I think Brigade, if I'm not wrong. It's a private money museum.
Nice.
It's extremely important, as we like to take kids to children's museum, taking them to some money museum as when you travel, because money also is very interesting, right? You have to play a game with young kids. You cannot make money into like a very serious subject. Have we ever sat down with our children and say, okay, ये note का मतलब, what are the things inside a note?
What does it mean? Yeah.
Right? कि एक note में, what does a note in a pound look like and a dollar look like and any other currency?
Yeah.
Make them create some kind of a stamp book or a whatever,
Sure.
some version of it. See, the thing is, you have to make this part of play. Especially when you're, at least 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And they should get excited about seeing different forms.
Yeah.
And that was one of the simplest way to normalize it.
Yeah, right.
Right? The thing is, this can't become a serious topic. The
Yeah.
minute you
make it part of play. Yeah.
minute it becomes serious, even in a couple format, it genuinely goes in a territory which is a slippery slope. You have to make this normal and saying there will be tough days, there will be happier days. Then the next, now multiple nuances. First of all, every kid has to have a account.
Yeah.
If they don't have an account, please create one today, which they have a debit card for, and ideally they have a checkbook of their own. Then
The child should have. That's
100%,
so
and
cool, yeah.
they should store it where they think it's safe for them.
Yeah.
Right? Because no one's going to take like 5,000-10,000 rupees, nothing's going to happen. Then
okay, yeah.
their pocket money comes there.
Yeah.
So for that, it goes into the transaction of the child's context.
Yeah, sure. So, just an important question. So, in this pipeline, what are the ages you think are earlier the better? I understand, but is there some recommended age by when you should have done all these?
See, I think every child is also very unique.
Sure.
It depends on the child's interest. But the way to do it is where money comes from should be done when they are 3 to 5 years old. Please do not delay it beyond that. I think 3 is already a time when the kid is aware of it.
3 to 5, wow. Huh.
See, the thing is, a 3-year-old might be small today, but you can make them start collecting different coins, put them in a piggy box.
All the stuff we talked about, make it a part of play.
Where it's spent, again, between 5 to 7, but at least 7-year kid needs to know where the 5 बड़े खर्चे. Electricity का bill कितना है? Approximately मेरे grocery कितने खर्च आते हैं? अच्छा, मेरी school fee कितनी है? By having the conversation, you will have a behavioral change. Like for example, if a child desperately wants to have ice cream or something else, let it be a thing. Saying, okay, this is your budget for your ice cream. Don't go to the most fancy shop, na?
Yeah.
You can also
need more. You
save it yourself. You have a savings account now, na?
Yeah. That's something that most people don't learn for a long time. The idea that I want to have, let's say, that expensive sneaker 3-4 months from now, that means that I have to sacrifice some expenses today. So that deferring wala idea is a very important one. I think it's baked into the ideas you're giving us.
No, but the thing is, it's very hard now, because today everything is a click away, and everything is getting faster and faster. I don't know how more faster you can get now, beyond for everything, and that's very normal because we want these things available. But for important or bigger expenses, if we delay it, and imagine making it part of family. Let's say, for example, we as a family wanted a TV. It's a normal thing कि TV खराब हो गया है या नया TV चाहिए. अच्छा चलो, let's work towards it. If it's urgent, then let's figure it out. Let's make big expenses part of
discussion.
Discussion ki how does this thing? Can we afford this TV? Even if you can.
And if we can't right now, when will we be able to? And to make that happen, what do we sacrifice?
So question is how to get there. And you want to teach, one, you have to teach yourself to do it, to not to buy this. But in the process, if you want to teach others now, and especially a child, you'll also learn it.
Yeah.
Think about it that way, right?
Correct.
So also, just because you don't put too much money, there's the other thing that, parents have this thing, ye lo beta 10,000 rupees.
Yeah.
क्यों?
For fun.
एक लिमिट से ऊपर बच्चे को पैसे मिलने ही नहीं चाहिए.
क्या करना है?
हाँ, मतलब, और अगर कुछ होगा तो उसको थोड़ा डिलेट करो. Like for example, by the time they are 12 or 13, they ask for a iPad or a laptop or some version of a phone. Please, मतलब, one of the best ways to delay it is to say, okay, save for it. Because at 12 or 13 in most urban household, you have to start giving them a phone, right? 13 के ऊपर तो most parents can't hold them.
Yeah, sure.
Around. One way to delay it is this.
Try delaying it, but mostly you'll have to.
And again, it's a very individual call. Ideally, if you can delay phone, that just is the best thing that the family can do. around. Just and having a conversation, what could be better use of this money?
They might be saving up for their own, some goal coming up in their minds also. It's okay. Now, the operation and so on of money, when do I take my child to the bank?
If there is a 10-year-old who has never been to the bank, tomorrow morning is my request.
If your child is 10 and they haven't been to a bank, pause this video and please continue after you've taken them to a bank. Awesome.
So the minute you've gone to the bank, the first thing the child does is open an account.
So let's say by 10.
By 10, but open an account means they have to fill the form, get them in the part of the experience, even if the child is small, you tell them what you're filling in.
Yeah.
Essentially.
ये नहीं है कि मैंने ही सब कर दिया and then they just come to sign.
नहीं उनको फिर आपने सिर्फ जाके सिर्फ डेबिट कार्ड दे दिया जब आया बैंक से.
And now have fun. Spend.
Make it part of their thing. Post the transaction part comes through. Take them to create an FD. Make 1,000 rupee FD.
Okay.
And ideally a recurring deposit, not even an FD.
FD or RD. Because they get in the habit of saving.
RD could be just $100 or $500.
Right.
It doesn't need to be more, depending on whatever, so that they should know that 10 or 15% of their approximate pocket money has to go to an RD fund. Because see, the thing is, first the child, and the reason is not about the concept of saving, it's about seeing how money can lie but grow.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to grow absurdly higher or beyond the limit. But if they see कि मैंने 1,000 रुपए डाला और एक साल में वो 1,000 का 1,000 50 हो गया जो भी हुआ, तो 50 आया कहाँ से? उसकी जो रियलाइजेशन होती है ना, वो जिंदगी भर रहती है कि पैसे सेव करे और सही जगह करे तो थोड़े बढ़ते रहते हैं.
हाँ, right.
Now once you have done this, you can now think about a mutual fund or a investment of stock. By 13 or 15, they should have an investment account. So again, if there are kids...
Can you make a Demat account at that age?
So parents can have a Demat account. But also there is a child Demat account, so there is always an option.
Got it.
Kids have a Demat account option, but if you don't want to do it, you can do it in your own account also. The point is the child needs to go click that button of buying that first Unilever stock or whatever that might.
Yeah, see that transaction happen, right?
See that transaction happening, seeing in their account, getting a slip saying this thing. See, physical things are important. तो स्टेटमेंट और कंपेयर करो हर 4-5 महीने में, अरे पहले कितना था अब कितना हुआ, एंड मोस्ट प्लेटफॉर्म्स अलाउ दैट, राइट? सो टेक अ स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ इट and take a print of it and come back home. The way to look at stock market is not about investing, it's about understanding a business. See, change the norm. It is not about investing and making capital return or increasing your wealth that way. Think of saying, let's go and understand कि ये
business क्या है,
and the best way to ask children, what are the products that you are inclined with? Like अगर आप सोप देखते हो तो यूनिलीवर आपको समझ आता है तो कुछ नहीं तो एक स्टॉक ले लो ना,
एक शेयर.
And that becomes another learning point. Take them to a distributor, for example. Right? How many of us have gone to a retailer दुकान और वहां से वो सोप आता कहाँ से?
It's very interesting. I think there's a larger point you're making is connected to the real world. Show that the checkbook is a real thing. The person on the other side of the bank app is a real person who stores your money for you and so on and so forth.
And try making this and now something that schools and parents have to come together. Because see, schools are great to institutionalize things.
Yeah.
At least once or twice a month, maybe once or twice a year is also good enough. Factory visits are important, essential. If you know somebody who runs a small business, take your child to it.
Nice. Yeah.
Right? Make it part of this thing. Please don't assume that kids also should know that a pen comes from a thing. Let's go figure out what's a pen factory look like. Or whatever version that closest
available. How many
available.
components go into it? How many supply chains need to be running smoothly for the pen to reach your doorstep? Yeah.
Absolutely. Then YouTube is not the only assumption that their child has because they've not seen anything else. No, but
yeah, YouTube का pipeline बहुत clear है ना कि I take my phone, I shoot, I do some editing, and then I upload it to YouTube and people can see it. So that pipeline has been visualized.
The thing is, if we take them away from the physical world, no matter what it is, they will not understand what the world works. And it's okay, let them be. I want to put a fine point on what you're saying here is the exposure that money conversations can allow you to give your child. That exposure is invaluable because just because you're talking about the fact that this is how money moves, this is how it's earned, this is how it's spent, when it's spent, this is what it enables a supply chain to do, a manufacturer to do, a business to do. It opens up the world of business, of work, of productive work for the child. The thing is, one both parents have a challenge. As the child gets older, you don't find common relatable context. But when you start looking at understanding new business models or making it part of play or making it part of investing, you realize that as children are 14, 15, 18, they will look off to you to make that understand, because they will not get this understanding by themselves. Like, make SIP. I'm not suggesting all of your investing. Make one SIP or family SIP. Which basically means that collectively you had come together on a dining table.
Family SIP, that's a great idea.
Right, one SIP, it doesn't need to be a very large amount. Let's say 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. But over years, every child's birthday, increase the SIP by 10% for that one. And you can make it like whatever, child's name ke upar SIP or whatever that might be. And they should see the return over time. So by the time they're 18 to 20, now money is not a taboo subject.
What I'm really loving about the way you're framing these things, and I hope people will take away from this, is the ritualizing of a lot of this stuff, right? You create habits around money. You create habits around understanding things around your house. You create a habit around, or a ritual around birthdays. You've mentioned attach charity. Now you've mentioned attach SIP, family SIP to your birthday. So these things become ritualized. I think that's so important because it creates a very strong impression on the child's mind that this is not something I'm doing because today is a fun day to talk about money. This is stuff you do for the rest of your life, which I really like.
One, it normalizes the conversation. It doesn't make money into a big thing. It just normalizes it. Second, it makes it repeatable. Any habit, the beauty of a habit is repeatable. And then the long-term effect is that these repeatable habits now somehow continue with the child as they grow older.
How do I have my first money chat? How do I broach the subject?
So the step is to do the action, not have the conversation. Conversation can happen a few days later. Na? Kaun si jaldi hai?
It's not ki, Rohan, please sit down. Let's talk about money today. No.
That is the last thing you want to do. See, the minute you make anything serious, kids automatically hate it.
So actually, don't have the conversation. Include them in your
money journey.
Next
time you are paying the electricity bill, just pay the electricity bill in front of the kids, saying that अरे इतना आया है, इसकी पेमेंट करनी है.
Analyze करके बता कि इतना
ये सही अमाउंट है कि नहीं है. हाँ, जाके चेक करते हैं. हाँ, चल. But the point is, make it like a part of discovery. You have to also become like a child.
And I think knowing kids these days, if you are including them in this electricity bill discovery process, they will have 20 questions. अच्छा, electricity इसमें ज़्यादा क्यों है, इसमें कम क्यों है, कहाँ से आ रहा है, बिजली बनाता कौन है, how come we are using this much and they are using that much. If the power gets cut, they'll have 10,000 questions. Actually, you get tired.
Let it not become a task for parents. Let it be saying, can we make this into something that
the family does together? When I'm having these discussions, how much of the family's finances should I reveal to my child? Do I talk about the assets, the liabilities, insurance, will and inheritance? What are the kinds of conversations that should be opened up?
I think the more open you are, the better it is. I don't think you should talk about how much you earn. Let that be an enigma. Because you don't need to know, or the child doesn't need to know, how much you need. Your spouse needs to know, because that's how you can create a budget in the house and figure out the challenging.
Tell your spouse how much you earn.
But in the child also, you're trying to build a sense of trust, right? You want to create a safe home. All of us want this safe space creation in a place of collective sharing, right? So it's important that liabilities have to be spoken about.
Okay.
So liability is now if it's some complicated things between your family members and you don't
property dispute going on,
or one uncle you owe something and you don't want family dynamics to change, then please be aware of what you want to share. I've seen that, I've seen a mistake happen in my house. The child comes saying, ये मेरा घर है, वो आपका घर है, वो उसका है, तो ये सब भी होता है.
Oh no.
बच्चे ऐसे ही बात करते हैं जैसे आप उनसे बात करते हैं.
Sure.
Keep the children protected from elders' fights. But home EMI or a car EMI or a phone EMI, any form of EMI to a banking institution, please talk about it. How much interest that you're paying for it, how long will you, that suddenly the child's empathy sooner or later will go up. Imagine a child gets to know that my parents struggled for 15 years to pay for this house. And all these children have this thing that what if I had a better home, a bigger home?
Why don't we live in a bigger house, Mama?
Because they went and saw that their friends' bigger house, and it's normal. Yeah, kids will behave like this, but they will have the empathy over time.
That's really cool. So you're saying, on the one hand, I'm talking about goal setting and planning and sacrificing at a micro level. Okay, I am saving for 3 months to be able to buy the thing I wanted. And at the same time, I'm talking about the same thing I have done at a macro level. I've done the same thing for over 15 years to be able to afford this house. I think they'll make that connection really beautifully. Yeah. I'll give you a very nice section from this book called Psychology of Money, which I cannot recommend enough. It was this, basically the author talks about, in a situation where the haves and have-nots have, such a big gap in society, what you should do with your kids is talk about process and glorify process rather than glorifying outcomes. For the child, it should not be as important that the other person has so-and-so house, but what should be important is how did they get there? What are the actions they took? That's what you can glorify. That also reduces ego, I think, by and by.
Kids knowing that how much school fees, most kids don't know how much the school fees
they
there.
don't.
Plus the add-ons that add on. Right?
Yeah, uniform, school trip, field trip.
कुछ भी चाहिए होता तो this thing. And then the child themselves is saying, I cannot afford this fancy school trip that my school is going for. I will stay out. I will not. I'll tell my teacher only.
Wow, if that happens, that's such a big win. If the child already knows when the school trip ka bill comes that their family cannot afford it. If that happens,
it's not about afford, right? It is not the right thing for them.
It's not the thing they want to spend on. Yeah. So I understand assets and liabilities ka aapka opinion, what to say and what not to say. What about insurance?
See, insurance, I think, is, first of all, you have to have it. You have to have that conversation.
Have insurance first, then talk about it.
And it's not like insurance is the only thing for everybody, but given where we are a middle class structure, especially the earning member needs to have a substitute for the family. So in insurance also, you should have life and health at the right time. See, if you're, there's always a time balance to it.
But isn't there a question then, like if I have term insurance and I have to tell my child about it, then I have to talk about my death. Isn't that extremely difficult to have as a conversation?
It is, but the thing is, the child is going to sooner or later figure out, because one of the grandparents is not going to be here.
Sure.
And while after grief is over, please have the conversation about grandparents. And therein,
that's the context then.
You find the right time. No, it doesn't need to be today. You find the right occasion. Something happened, like there was a life event that happened that the insurance had to be. Or for example, somebody got hospitalized. Then let's talk about their health insurance and how that health insurance saved that cost structure around. So find an occasion.
I really like that. I think that's also one of my biggest gripes with school, which is that they disconnect the doing of something from the learning of something. So you've got this very strange incubation period of 12 years where you're only learning, not doing, and then you're expected to finally apply it after you graduate. But what you've said is exactly my belief as well, that talk about it when you need to talk about it, and it can immediately be actioned, it can be implemented. So in the context of a hospitalization, in the context of someone passing away, talking about term insurance will not be an academic subject. It will become real. It will have real stakes. It has to be learned right now. Insurance, got it. Now, what about wills and inheritance?
Now, this is very tricky. Now, this has to be done in a family dynamics. Today, it's a good thing. First of all, you should have a will. Should you have a conversation with your spouse? Again, this is one thing, you must have a conversation with your spouse. Right. Do you need to pass this to your children? Maybe not. It's not like it needs to be done, but I think by the time they're 18, if they can vote, they should know the structure. What is a concept of a will? What is it important? You might still decide not to talk about your inheritance because inheritance has complexities. If you have too much, you don't want your child to know so that they don't overspend or just get more complacent in life, right? Yeah. It's very important to find that balance. I think it's important by the time they're 18 to 21 to have this conversation. Saying, listen, and again, it's a maturity conversation, saying you better work for yourself, but there is a backup.
But I'm sure there must be parents watching this who also don't want to give their inheritance to their kids. They want to leave it for an endowment, or they want to donate everything and the child gets nothing, or they want their kids.
Right, but then if that is clarity, then you must have this conversation.
Then they have to know.
They better know this because they'll have to earn their own way in the world. Yeah. But if you're extremely clear what's going to happen, there is no harm to have a conversation. By 21, I think you are adult enough beyond to know this thing. At 18 also is a good thing. You don't need to have it when they're 10 and 12 years old.
Okay, now I have some FAQs. Okay. First, what is the balance between talking about money and not talking about money? Because my fear is if I start talking to my kids about money, they'll get burdened. They'll get burdened by the mores of the real world and their childhood will disappear? What is
Nothing like that. Their childhood today there's no childhood as we knew it as childhood, because the minute the phone comes in, the childhood is somehow disappeared into watching, not playing games, but watching other people play games, right? So streamers, right? So please assume they're adults, and the way you talk to them as you will talk to a friend or a normal colleague, just talk to them like that once in a while. It's okay.
You don't think talking about liabilities to a 12-year-old, 13-year-old will really make them super sad about their lives?
See, if you are sad about your liabilities, then they will be sad about it. If you say that this is our liability as a matter of fact, they will take it as a matter of fact.
So they'll imbibe your reaction.
Yeah, and it has to be the thing that have this as a conversation as saying, acha, we got some bonus now. Should we pay EMI or should we invest? Let's figure this out. If it's a 15-year-old, I'm sure you can have this conversation.
Oh, 15-year-old, you can.
Or a 13-year-old also.
Next. I am a parent and I already have really bad habits. I have spent like anything. I haven't saved a dime. My kid's future is at serious risk. How do I talk to my kids in this situation?
First, talk to yourself. Start with yourself. Take a piece of paper, figure it out, talk to an uncle, talk to a friend. First, talk to you about yourself.
हाँ, ये भी बात ठीक है. मतलब if I have bad habits, I'm too embarrassed to even get advice myself.
Yeah. So I think you have to first change yourself. Children are not going to do something that they don't see outside. If they're seeing a new car coming in every 2-3 years, if they're seeing new shoes, new products getting ordered, every day there's an Amazon person, they think it's normal, no? तो उसको सोचो ना कि बच्चे पे क्या effect है.
But coming back to that question, if I have bad habits or I have bad liabilities, I've made some bad decisions, or I mean something that maybe I'm embarrassed to say, but I got scammed, I lost money in the great stock market crash of Y2K, whatever it is this stuff that I should burden my child with or leave it?
No, you could talk about it if you're comfortable. And see, the thing is, having a conversation for any time is not a bad thing. If you are ready and you want to have that, please have it, because you will be surprised what comes out on the other side. It will be more love, more appreciation, better behavior. There is never a chance. Imagine your parents telling you the hard conversation today. Your behavior towards your parent instantly changes the day they share something.
Yeah, absolutely right. पर मेरा राजा बेटा है और मैं उस अपने लाडले बच्चे को दुनिया की सारे ऐशो आराम देना चाहता हूँ.
तो आपने वहीं पे गड़बड़ कर दी ना. You have done the mistake there. Constraints is the mother of invention, right? Constraints is the way you learn anything. Today there's no constraint. Why do you want to learn anything?
Yeah.
मेरा राजा बेटा फिर घर पे बैठे.
Yeah.
Right? So that context, that please create constraints on yourself, through which the children will learn, and please create constraints for themselves. Constraints are essential. Don't go buy the latest iPhone. It is not your prerogative, no matter who you are. Wait it out. Credit card एक बहुत tricky part होता है. उसको थोड़ा balance करो घर पे. Especially in our modern homes. Don't make credit card a game. Yes, you can use your credit card, get your points, do whatever you need to, but at least pay your bill on time.
Pocket money के ऊपर आपका क्या opinion है? देनी चाहिए या नहीं देनी चाहिए?
देनी चाहिए. और fix होनी चाहिए.
Fixed pocket money तो.
फिक्स मनी मतलब देखो, लेट द बजट बी जॉइंटली क्रिएटेड ना. सिंह कहाँ पे खर्चा करना है, लेट्स ब्रेक इट डाउन, एंड देन बेस्ड ऑन ऑल्सो द फैमिली, हाउ मच आई कैन डिस्पोज इट ऑफ, फिक्स इट, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर बच्चों को लगेगा कि एंडलेस पैसा है तो कभी भी आता रहेगा. बट येस, इफ देयर इज अ सडन ट्रिप, समबडीज बर्थडे, समथिंग इज हैपनिंग व्हिच इज अ फन ओकेजन, once in a while you are allowed to this thing. Also, why is it fixed? Because they have to save 15 to 20%. If they don't save 15 to 20%, reduce their next month's pay.
Nice.
So they have to get into a habit where they learn that when pocket money comes, you don't save at the end.
Yeah.
You have to save at the start.
Right.
Which is the same logic applies to you, right? When your income comes, you first do the saving and then do the kharcha.
Correct.
The same learning has to be done at no matter how big or small the pocket money is.
Yeah.
Once it's fixed, then let there be some variance.
It's very interesting. You're treating pocket money in the same way as I would treat my salary, basically, right?
It is their income.
The whole family, the father gets in a certain salary, mom gets in a certain salary, and a certain salary pocket money is given to the child also. Now everybody saves and everybody makes their own financial goals, and you have a collective financial goal as a family. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. एक last question है मेरा, मतलब I think if there's anything we've learned in this conversation, it's that talking about money is important. This is extremely crucial. What is stopping the education system from making this part and parcel of the curriculum?
So education only comes what is normalized in society and between teachers or parents. It is not normal. There is no personal finance course in India. US or other markets have a personal finance course which they have to go through. I think personal finance has to become part of the new education policy. If it's not, please collectively come together, parents. Some parent can teach the bunch of children. Make it part of school by parents getting activated on that.
Nice, yeah.
And there is enough and more children's curriculum online, which can be taught by anybody essentially.
So, but you're saying it's not taught in schools because we are still not talking about it enough in our homes.
Absolutely.
So if parents you're watching this, I think this is what you need to do. Get together with other parents, organize some of these conversations. If all of you agree, go to the school together as a PTA. Tell the school to add some of these subjects in school. Get a financial expert to come and teach a class once a month, once a week, whatever you can wrangle. Maybe the library period, which is anyway taken up by the maths teacher to catch up on syllabus, can become the personal finance period.
It has to be part of our education structure. Honestly, if it's not, then what are you teaching? And one more thing that is associated, get children to work and make money at a younger age, right?
अब वो भी टैबू है ना स्कूल में, मतलब it's very very weird for a child to work during their school years.
Children need to know how to earn. If they are 13, they better be doing a small, like they teach another kid, they take care of somebody, they go work somewhere. But especially summer holidays and some weekends have to be done doing some economic activity where they make some money. And then let them spend, it's okay. Let them go splurge that capital. But we have to teach them young. I think that's one of the most critical aspects.
Do you have any book recommendations for parents watching?
No, so you mentioned Psychology of Money. I think it's a fabulous book. People should read it. A lot of people try to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There was an era for that. So please read it when that book was written about it. I think there's a lot of fear, but I think book reading is not your answer.
Sure.
Again, have conversations because books are not going to be able to tell such a cultural topic. And even between you and me, there'll be a big difference in how our households are.
हमारे तो पंजाबी घर हैं, आप जो बोल रहे हो चीज़ें वो मैं बिल्कुल रिलेट नहीं कर पा रहा. Like my dad always, when we were growing up, my dad would say, "Hey भगवान मेरा खर्चा बढ़ा दे." His idea was that the more you have to spend, the more you have to earn. So you are naturally going to earn more and more as time goes on. Hey भगवान मेरा खर्चा बढ़ा दे, उल्टा.
और यहाँ पे बनियों के साथ उल्टा होता है कि मेरी इनकम बढ़ा दे, बस जो भी करना है.
खर्चा तो मैं करूँगा ही नहीं.
नहीं, वो तो अलाउड ही नहीं है. I have an old saying that a baniya doesn't have depression. He only has depression the day he earns less than yesterday. But that's a different,
Nice. No, exactly. So it's a cultural thing. Don't rely too much on books. Make sure you have conversation.
Yes, just please, if you haven't had a conversation today, have a conversation with your parents. How old they are, doesn't matter. Sort that thing out. You all sort your parents' relationship out.
Thank you so much. Please thank Mr. Gaurang Sanghvi. Ask that finance guy. We did. We asked that finance guy. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'll get Gaurang. I'll send a screenshot on WhatsApp, get the answer, and I'll send it to you. And also, please support the channel. You can send us a super thanks, buy a book. There's a store connected to the YouTube channel. You can just send us a donation or two, whatever it is that you can do.
इनकी इनकम बढ़ाओ ताकि ये लोग और कुछ काम करें आपके लिए and this circulation happens. So please do. I followed him. I reached out to him on YouTube. That's how this happened because I loved the content that he puts together. So thank you so much and please do more.
Yes, will do.